Hello and welcome to my 13 horrifically silly days of Halloween. This time, this episode, if you will, is the reunion of the cast and crew of the Scary Bitch Project. It's our 20th anniversary, guys. Can you believe it?
Ouch.
Yeah. Ooh.
That makes us how old?
Sorry?
That makes us how old?
Yeah, I don't have to say, right? You know, there's a little gray here and stuff. You know, people can estimate. So it was actually September 11th was one of the weekend days in 1999 that we shot this. Yeah, September 11th.
Wow.
Before it was, you know, the day that it is now. But I would like to share some memories with you guys. I'm hoping I might be able to post the movie in my blog for a limited time for people to see for free. And it's also included on the Space Zombies DVD as a special feature. So that's another way you can get your copy of the Scary Bitch Project, which of course is a parody of the Blair Witch Project, which came out in 1999 as well. But first of all, let me start by asking, we'll start with you, Judy. Please tell me your most treasured memory from the Scary Bitch shoot.
I mean, I don't know if I have one treasured memory.
Share a couple, whatever.
I think that the experience overall was something I treasure. Like, I liked the idea that all of us were, we were already comfortable working together from a few other projects, and we were comfortable writing together from a few other projects. So for me, I liked the idea that we went on a trip together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That we went and we stayed at your mom's house, and, we were, camping almost, even though we were at a house, but and then we were in the woods filming for, all day and then into the night. And, mom was feeding us. And, I just think that whole experience of remote production with a crew that was already kind of, we had a family feeling going on already, and a road trip and all of that stuff. I thought that part was really, really cool.
Good share, Judy. Thank you. And Rob?
Well, I have to say the same thing. The going out there, especially living in Toronto at the time, I didn't think I'd go back to a small town ever again. Now here I am in Kingston, but
It's actually a lot smaller than Kingston, though. So.
I know, but it's still very small compared to Toronto, and
yes.
So to be out there and to do that was a lot of fun. The two sort of major memories that stick out to me were one was how many times we shot. So just rewatched the film. How many times we shot Jeff trying to kick the map.
I wish Jeff was here for that. That might be his most hated moment or his best. I'm not sure.
Well, I think the funniest thing is the scene that was chosen is funny because he misses it so badly. It's so funny. The other one that really stands out to me is the being in the woods, and I believe I was with you, Reagan, and we were in the dark, and when I was doing the yelling, and all we could hear was stuff creeping in the woods behind, like animals or something, but you're in the dark yelling.
And it was pitch black there. It was scary, even though you know perfectly well, okay, the highway is just like a few feet that way, and there's homes, there's a little suburb off to the east or west or whatever it was, but still, totally.
Yeah, and I think we joked about it a lot, but the horrible idea of the irony of someone like killing us in the woods while we're making a parody of something about teenagers getting killed in the woods. It's like how horribly funny and awful that would be. But yeah, it was a really great time. It was a great weekend, and it was a great kind of, like Judy said, a family sort of thing. We all just bonded and had a good time, and I think it shows in the film. I think it's it's silliness and charm comes from the fact that we were all actually having fun doing it. So.
Yeah, it was authentic that way. For sure. Thank you, Rob. And Kim?
Yeah, one of my favorite memories is actually one of Rob's favorite memories, except for Rob's character was supposed to be the guy who like didn't think anything was scary. And in the clip that's in the film, you can hear a little bit of "I want to get out of these woods right now." But right after that shot, I think that's when I had to go running into the woods. I think it's right after the lens cap comes off. But we're in the tent after that. And I had to run. And you were just like, can you just run? Can you just keep running until I scream cut? And it was terrifying because I think I had this little tiny flashlight or something, but it wasn't doing any good. And I was just running into the woods. And I had no idea where I was. I don't even remember if I heard Reagan say cut, but it stopped at some point and was just like, it was pitch black and there was nobody around me.
Reality of filming in the woods.
Exactly.
Life, right?
Yeah. The other memory I had was of the shack, because we had found this shack in the woods that
was just there. Some freaky teenagers or somebody built it and put it like this ramshackle, but actually reasonably put together with a fair amount of lumber. Like why?
Fort.
Definitely
fort in the woods. That's why.
And it was like the last shot of the night, I think, and it was the part where I scream really loud.
Yes.
And I didn't understand that you wanted to run it, but you wanted to like do like a rehearsal without the scream. I don't know if I don't know what the permit situation was like, but we were getting to the point where I think we had been just creeped out the whole day. Like people were talking to us and kind of being strange. So I screamed and everybody freaked out. And I was like, what?
We thought the police were coming. Because people were going to be afraid there was murder in the woods. For real.
Well,
there were no
remember too, everything is so much louder at night in the woods.
In the woods.
So, I'm sure and the scream was already piercing. So like times 100-fold.
Well, and
other people.
And a lot of the people we interviewed during the day were quite strange, like that guy with the turkeys and the hicks on the hill. It's like
somebody used to run around or something, ring the bell, and then those hicks up on that one hill would come out with baseball bats and start chasing people for no reason at certain times of night. They'd go around smacking people's houses up at night, saying, "Who killed my turkeys?"
So it led up to a pretty interesting sort of evening at that point.
Kim and I were talking about the turkey guy that we interviewed in town, and he just made up a really strange story just off the top of his head about like some background of which we asked everybody just to make up. We just met people on the street, asked them to sign a release, and then tell us about the scary bitch after we had explained what we were doing somewhat, and people very confusedly got the job done, but he was weird.
I feel like we should go back to Fergus and see if he's still around.
Yeah. Well,
see what he's doing now 20 years later.
Get the update. And now, before I started on this, I should have asked each of you to introduce yourselves, but now it's getting the memories first is kind of fun. Kim, I'll go backwards now. If you could reintroduce yourself or introduce yourself for the first time here, and tell us what you did in the Scary Bitch Project and what you're up to lately.
So I'm Kim Crosscup and I play Kimmy myself. I was the filmmaker. I was the one responsible for dragging all my friends out to the woods, even though in real life it was Reagan that did that. Now still doing the acting thing here and there. I'm going to be just finished co-producing a show, and I'm going to be in Trip to Bountiful playing Just May in February at the Alumni Theatre in Toronto.
Awesome. Rob?
I'm Rob Downs, and I played Rob in the film. Although, watching it just this evening, I will say I look nothing like that gentleman in the film at this point.
None of us look like the people.
No, you guys all look fairly similar. I don't feel like I look anything like that. But,
Yeah.
but it was what I'm doing now is raising a family. I have two lovely little boys, and I run a cafe here in town in Kingston. And I'm still doing the writing and the acting and performing stuff. I had a play in the Fringe Festival here this summer, and was in a couple of films this year, and it's so still plugging away at it. But family life takes up a lot of time and energy, and in a good way. That's awesome. And but yeah, happy to. It was fun to revisit this and see that young man I don't recognize anymore.
Well, it was a while back, like I said.
Yes.
And now Judy.
Hi, I'm Judy Singh, and I don't even know what my credit was in the film, because we all did a little bit of everything, right? So, writer, producer, director, actor. I don't even know if I had a name, possibly clown.
Yeah.
You were the creepy clown.
And woman number 3 for the industry. But yeah, I mean, those were such good times, not just Scary Bitch, but all the other productions that we did together too, and the stage and in film. And, I carried those with me. I live in the Cayman Islands now. And for my first almost 10 years here, I did video production. And then I got into a tech job in a tech company. So I've maintained some production and some performance even. I acted in a comedy review play that was annual here, a political comedy review. So I did that for a few years. So yeah, enjoying it, loving life.
And I'm Reagan, and I played little bit parts, including some weird, sketchy chick with a kerchief, and but mostly I directed and co-wrote the Scary Bitch Project, and co-produced and so forth. And yeah, Judy, you edited it, right? Like you and
oh yeah, editor.
That's a biggie. But yeah, and now I'm mostly doing writing. Still, theater and film is still a thing, but mostly I'm focused on writing and writing novels and things like that, including my trilogy of horrifically half-baked ham, which inspired me to do this blog of 13 days of Halloween, horrifically silly days of Halloween. And anyway, moving on. I wanted to ask each of you what your favorite moment in the film when you're watching it, if you have had a chance or if you remember, or favorite film moment. Kim.
Oh goodness. All of the ones where Rob is like a sarcastic jerk, I think. Just make me laugh to this day. Exactly. I was like, wow, I miss him. I was watching it. Another one was when we go out to the highway, right? When we're like, we're lost, and then we get this shot of the highway. And it's so like absurd, and we don't know what to do, so we just turn around and start screaming again at the same thing. So those were a couple of mine that were funny. The one with the crying was just a little bit gross, I think.
With you close up your face and the nails?
My fingernails were so dirty, literally just from being out in the woods all day long. And I had to get the tear just right. And he was quite late at that point as well. But yeah, it was
that's what I was gonna say was my favorite moment.
Okay, go ahead, Judy.
Just watching you put your fingers in your eyes
for
an hour as you do take after take of trying to get the tears, and you're like, no, I can do it. This is what I do. This is what I can do.
That's my thing. And then an hour later, they were like, I was like, I can't do it anymore. Let's just
And Reagan's like, we got it.
It's fine.
I think we got
it. And Rob?
Well, probably any scene I'm not in is way more entertaining to me than I gotta say, Kim, your speech is one of the best parts of that. And I would agree the road one is just so funny coming out, just the stop and the pause and then turn around and just go back in and continue arguing and fighting. And I find it's a lot of the little lines, little sort of smaller ones you hear in the background from people that are so funny, because that's the stuff I always love in comedies, is the sort of little things going on in the background.
When Jeff says the longitude, I want to know our longitude and latitude.
Here, what is our precise latitude and longitude? You tell me that, and then I'll relax, all right?
Because that whole bit was that. I mean, there was a lot of it that was improv, right? But that whole bit especially, and he would just come up with something different every time, which was it always made me laugh, almost laugh every single time.
Well, there's the it's right near the start, the Jeff coming back for the camera. When he comes back in the door, it's just like, camera. He goes and gets it. It's just the timing of that is nice. Like he just has this, the look on his face. It's really, really good. There's a lot of little moments I find that really stand, like that are work. Like the whole thing is so ludicrous, but then there's these little moments of really funny bits that I don't know, it just works.
Oh, Rob, since you mentioned your least favorite moments being the ones you were in, I was going to ask you what you liked best about your character and your favorite moment with your character in the film. Since you focus on everybody else, I'll start with you on that one.
All right. Well, I mean, my favorite thing about it is I really didn't have to work that hard to play myself. But I think it's the lens cap moment for me, because it's just that it's such a great little oh my god, oh it's so dark, what's it, pop, and just I don't even think I say anything. I just think I just shake my head and walk away. Yeah. That for me is my favorite character moment. But I enjoyed the whole thing in that sense. Like it's a lot of fun to kind of go out and be yourself in a film. And I would like to say I'm not that sarcastic these days, but I think I still am.
That's a good thing. Kim, what about you and your character?
Yeah, I mean, I just love how she's going for it, right? She's just making everybody get into this thing that she's so excited about, right? And that persistence, and that she's dragged everybody there, and she's sort of fighting to the end, and she just really, really wants to make this movie, and does it. She doesn't necessarily think everything through, but I think that's part of the fun of it.
Awesome. And Judy, I know you played. You can talk about either a particular crew position, or you can talk about the clown, who I would say would be the biggest role you had in.
Yes, the clown for me was very fun because I'm not only the juxtaposition of why is a clown in the woods. Mm-hmm. I got to dress up in a funny outfit, and I got to make funny poses, which always made me laugh. So I really enjoyed just.
But didn't you had to chase us around, because we do one shot for that, and you had to be in a different pose. Yeah.
You like go off camera and then come back in a different pose. That's right.
It was funny.
Yeah, that was really a funny element, I think, in that in a cameo kind of absurd way.
Totally. Okay, I'm just going to throw this one out to the floor. Anybody answer as you like. I know we've already talked a little bit about some behind the scenes moments, but I was just wondering if, anything truly behind the scenes, totally off camera memories that you have. Anybody have any of those to share? Like maybe that guy in the woods during the day while we were setting up our location, and he was like, I think it was you and Greg, Judy, that he encountered, and you were bringing in bottles of beer, and they were just props. We were not going to be drinking in the woods, but you people better not be camping in these here woods or something. It was totally hick.
Yeah.
Classic hick, what are y'all doing in my area?
Yeah, and scary.
Better not be I mean, that voice alone was pretty scary. And the staring eyes. But yes, that was certainly an ominous like when you're filming something that is full of kooky characters and you actually really run into a kooky character, it's definitely funny. A creepy, kooky character at that. Yeah, that was a funny one for sure.
And it was part of the reason why Rob and I were a little freaked out there in the dark while we were creating sound effects in the background for characters that were actually on camera, mainly Kim and Jeff, I believe, to hear, wondering where, after Rob had stomped off into the woods, what had happened to him, and now he's screaming out there somewhere and they can't find him.
No, not Brussels sprouts. Take him away.
But we're back there, and as Robin mentioned earlier, hearing creatures or something or someone or creeping around behind us, and it's dark and we can't see, and oh my God. Anyway, we thought of that guy, and that wasn't comforting at all. Even though we didn't encounter him, it was like.
Yeah.
Also, somebody, my mom and dad put
ribbons. Yeah,
that's right, around on trees to help us figure out our locations and find things easily. Somebody took them down. It was that guy. I know it was.
and it was pretty soon after. Like, it was they had put them up, and like we were there later that day, I think, and they were gone. It was super creepy.
Yeah, it was totally. And any other behind the scenes moments you guys remember, or shall we?
I had this really fun moment with Greg, who's our camera guy. Yeah. And we were trying to figure out how we were going to do the tumble.
Oh,
right? Yeah. How we were going to do the tumble, and because we needed my voice on camera as well. So we attached ourselves to each other. I don't know if it was a coat or some sort of thing, and we actually fell down this hill together. And he managed not to crash the camera. I don't know how he didn't crash the camera, because I'm a clumsy person on a good day. But we're like tumbling, doing these somersaults, and he's got the camera, and while I was screaming, and it really did seem like it was my POV. So it was a pretty clever.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to call it a camera trick, but it was.
And that moment was an homage to how the Blair Witch Project was very shaky. So that's why you had to do that. Moving on from behind the scenes moments, Kim, you attended the screening for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm not sure, Judy, Rob, if you guys were there or not. The screening of The Scary Bitch at Bloor Cinema during one of their monthly video. They play a lot of short films from local people, kind of thing, or they did back in the day. Do you any memories to share?
I think Rob was there for sure.
I think I was there. Yeah.
Okay.
The more I thought about it, I wasn't sure the other day, but I think the more I thought about it, I'm pretty sure I was there. So.
Any memories?
It was wild, because we were the last, because I think our piece was the longest.
Yes.
And people came out and were just talking about how funny it was. It was really, and they were, you could seeing it on the big screen was super cool. Like things like, I just remember Rob referred to the lens cap moment earlier, and it was so, everybody was just like, I think we knew it was funny because it was funny to us. But it was just like everybody was like, it was just this like weird 15 minutes of famous moment where people are coming up to us saying, oh my gosh, it was so funny, which was really joyful, because you go into the woods and you make a film, and you don't know and you don't generally typically get that opportunity to see an audience and how they're going to react to it. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. There was also an article in the Ryerson newspaper that was, sort of across the street from where I was living at the time. But that was pretty cool too. It had a good shot of Judy as the clown, and everybody posed around her. That was fun as well.
Nice. Just something back. I was trying to think of what it was to go back to behind the scenes moments just real quick.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Your stepdad.
Yep.
Wasn't he supposed to just do the lines?
Yeah, he was the fisherman, and he
was so rough at it that we actually made that scene.
Yeah, he had to read them off cue cards because he couldn't memorize them. So my mom made these big cue cards, but he was still reading it really stiffly. And but we turned it into, okay, let's just take advantage of this. Like,
looking like we're making this terrible movie and coercing people into
Exactly. Yes. Here are your lines, strange fisherman guy. What do you say about the scary bit? All these big cue cards up, and Jeff's like, with the camera pans over, he's like, yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that was, to me, I remember that being hilarious, because I remember first week, oh my gosh, how is this gonna work, because it's not going well, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh well, we could just do this.
Yes, that was a good save. Now, speaking of, you mentioned the woods there, Kimmy, going out into the woods and making a film and not expecting, this the opportunity to have audience feedback necessarily for some short thing. I just wondered if you guys would comment on your thoughts on the Blair Witch Project, which inspired this whole thing. This is a bunch of kids in the woods, and suddenly it becomes the first found footage movie phenomenon thing.
Yeah, it was such a big deal, wasn't it? It was. I remember I was a camp counselor on the island, and they had some sort of maze back then, I think, and we had a sleepover night, and it was a nightmare, because everybody was like, oh, it's, these camp counselors were like, oh, it's Blair Witch Project. I'm like, no, do not make jokes about that kind of thing. My friend's gonna turn it into a movie. But yeah, it was such a huge deal. I can't remember how much money the film was made on, like what the budget was of the movie.
The budget was small. It was like 5 figures or something. And it made lots of money.
Yeah.
Well, I remember going, because Reagan, you and I went to see it.
Yes.
And and that we had, I don't know if it was fortunate or unfortunate, but we had an audience that laughed through most of it.
Yeah.
And I remember at the end, you and I being like, we could do that.
We can make it funny.
And then we did.
Yeah. Funny on purpose, not funny.
Yeah, but that's the main thing I remember. I don't remember much about the film other than the audience laughing uproariously during most of what was supposed to be intense and serious.
Yeah.
And so it colored the view of it for me. I didn't get that feeling that a lot of people are like, oh, so scary. I'm like, no, this is hilarious, because everyone in the place found it hilarious. So.
There were a lot of people did parodies, and there was even some sort of competition that we weren't able to get in on, unfortunately. I forget the reasons, but it was a timing issue. But there was a big sort of worldwide competition for Scary Bitch, not Scary Bitch, Blair Witch parodies. Yeah, they don't do a parody of a parody.
That's what we should do now, as a competition for people to make parodies of our film. See what comes out.
So.
Be the scariest film you've ever seen.
I'm putting that in the blog. We'll see what people. Judy, Blair Witch.
Yeah, I remember. I remember being pretty freaked out by it. I thought it was pretty thrilling, and I think it was one of the first films to really be that POV style, amateur POV that was successful in storytelling and getting you immersed in that story. And I remember feeling, wow, this is a simple story being told in a simple way, but it's kind of punching you in the gut at times, and especially at the end, and thinking, wow, that's remarkable. It was very innovative for its time.
Yeah, it set off a whole
open doors, right? It opened so many doors.
Yeah, totally. And for low budget filmmakers in particular, which was nice in that way, like get the indie people out there and
yeah, imagine what we could have done with an iPhone.
Gosh,
what we still. Oh my God. No, don't worry.
Okay, well, we got to go do with an iPhone, make a shot-for-shot remake. I think we all have to gather in first.
Right?
Psycho.
There is this resurgence of remakes from movies from 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So the timing's right.
Well, or maybe
we'll have to get
that
a wig maybe for the hair. But.
I don't know. Full shaved head. That might be the way to go.
Woods, right? It's totally the same kind of thing.
Well, maybe this could be the 25th anniversary idea. We can.
Oh, okay. Give us 5 years.
We got time.
Put it off. 30, maybe? 35 years.
Sure.
What do you-
Although apparently the woods aren't there anymore, right? So
No,
we're gonna have to.
not the same spot. I was mentioning that to you yesterday, right, Judy? And I can't find it anymore. I can't find the little parking lot thing where we drove up, and then you get the trail into the woods kind of thing with this little recycling bin or something beside it, and that I think, this is where the scary bitch puts her garbage, that or whatever that thing.
Well, then we make a shot-for-shot remake in wherever it is, whatever's there now. So if it's like a suburb, we still just
like a cul-de-sac. Like somebody's backyard.
The audience appetite is there for this. Awesome.
It would be people would just be like, I don't know what's happening. This is
people who haven't seen the movie is so confused. And then like, okay, this is a remake of the Scary Bitch Project, which was a parody of something. And we're going to remake it shot for shot. Yeah. Great idea.
How many people have been born since that came out?
I don't think about that.
Who have no idea what the film is.
Yeah, they're out making films now. Like, yeah. We have to stop that conversation right now. Anyway, I think I'd better wrap it up. Zoom is going to kick us off soon. And I just wanted to say thank you to my special guests and reunion folk, Judy, Rob, Kim. Thank you. It was wonderful chatting with you. Jeff will contribute via text, so he's here in spirit, and he'll be in text in the blog. So we've all pretty much made it back. So thank you very much, and I'll see you around the interwebs, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
Hey guys.
Bye.
Bye.